Ghostbusters Frozen Empire is now out and in theaters. Now, I was a little bit worried about it because, number one, there were no early reactions. Number two, they didn't let the reviews drop until, not terribly, terribly late, but a little bit later than I would normally like to see them drop. But most importantly, I haven't really been thrilled with the trailers. Now, all that coming on the heels of course, Ghostbusters Afterlife, which came out a couple of years ago, directed by Jason Reitman, son of the original Ghostbusters director, Ivan Reitman. And I loved that movie. I loved Ghostbusters Afterlife. I had such a good time with it. So I was completely down for them to do another one. And it's okay. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire is all right. And I'll tell you what, the third act saves the movie. Because the first two acts of the film are slow and dry and boring and gimmicky and nothing but nostalgia, mops being wiped across your face, and just, it wasn't entertaining. It wasn't fun. They would try to do some things that would be funny or whatever, and it just, none of the stuff was really landing. It wasn't awful. Like, it wasn't an offense to my senses, like, say, something like Madam Web was. But the first two acts just really weren't clicking all that well. And even a great example of that is Kumail Nanjiani, who gets brought into the film like in the later part of the first act, stuff like that. And he just comes across as kind of a ridiculous caricature of a character. But he becomes kind of a neat representation of the movie because as you get into the third act, as Kumail Nanjiani's character kind of improves as we get into the third act, the movie itself starts to pick up pace. Like the movie itself, some of the jokes start landing. Some of the stuff that they're doing that's supposed to be exciting, that simply isn't in the first two acts, they start making it a little bit exciting. Some of the little nostalgic drops they make become fewer than they do in the first two acts, but they hit a little bit better in the third act. And so I would say that the third act of Ghostbusters Afterlife really does save the film for me. It doesn't make it a really good film, but it makes it not bad. Overall, I walked out, because if you had asked me halfway through watching this movie, are you having a good time with this movie? I'd say no, I'm not. It's not the worst thing I've seen this year, clearly, but it's not great. But by the time I walked out, I was like, you know what? That wasn't bad. Overall, I had a pretty good time. Paul Rudd works. I like that they build in some more family dynamic stories, because now obviously Paul Rudd has been dating their mom for a couple of years now, and that changes the dynamics. That was kind of interesting. They bring in, what happens if you're a Ghostbuster and you become friends with a ghost? They kind of bring that as a part of it. Again, they do a good job of introducing some new mythology, like the Kumail Nanjiani character. Won't go into details about what he's supposed to do and all that kind of stuff. But here was my final thought when I walked out. It's time to put the Proton packs away. By the time this thing finished, they saved the film. I thought it was pretty good. Not bad. Not nearly as good as Ghostbusters Afterlife. But yeah, by the time it was done, it was like, yeah, this should be, Ecto 1's final ride. This should be the last time we see these guys, because I really don't feel like there's anywhere else for them to go with this now.
So you say that even if they introduced a younger team, just a younger new team without bringing in the old guys anymore, it looks like, well, I can't say it. Oh, I'm trying to refrain from spoilers, but it looks like there's going to be more, right?
Sure. I think they want this thing. Look, one of the things that you find out quickly in this movie is that Sony has created an entire Ghostbusters filmmaking division at Sony. Because what do they call the production?
Corpse.
Ghost Corpse, right? Sony has created its own production arm called Ghost Corpse, which I suppose is supposed to be nothing but creating all Ghostbusters material, right? And that actually, I have no problem with that. Think ahead. Why not do something like that? But my problem is, half of this movie is with the younger new generation of Ghostbusters. They kind of played that out in Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Right.
And what this movie kind of showed me was that even if you bring in a whole new team, it's still just the same thing, exactly. Right? And they're going to feel, don't get me wrong, I love Bill Murray and I love Dan Aykroyd, good Canadian kid, by the way. Ernie Hudson, I love all those guys, but no matter, even if they do bring in a new cast, they're going to feel a need to, we have to go back to the old one. We have to do more nostalgia. We got to show the little Stay Puft guys again. You saw them in the trailer, so that's not giving anything away. We got to do all the nostalgia stuff. And it's like a part of me just realized this is all they have left. So if this is the last Ghostbusters, and the box office will be the thing that determines that, but if this is the last Ghostbusters, I think they went out with a respectable swing at the plate.
And I must say, for a 2:00 showing yesterday, it was a pretty packed theater and a loud theater, because I'm usually the loudest one. You could hear me talking. There
Yes,
was like
that
two
is
or
true.
three people that are very, very loud in there because they love this franchise. I'm not sure what they're gonna make by the end of the weekend, but it'll probably be some good numbers.
I mean, I don't know, but I was kind of surprised for a 2:00 screening on first day. There were, I mean, it wasn't a full house, but there was more people in that theater than I was expecting there to be. And you're right, it was a pretty enthusiastic audience. It was a very, very pro Ghostbusters audience. Actually, it's funny, when we got to the theater, there's the concession line, and there was this mom and her daughter there, and her daughter was all Ghostbuster like clothes on. She had the Proton, the Ghost Trap popcorn box.
All right,
thing,
those things look cool.
which looked really cool. Like it looked like one of the ghost traps, you know, that they throw under the ghost, but it was a popcorn thing.
What
Very interesting.
What pin did you get?
I never opened it.
It shows in the front. I wanted Slimer, but I got the logo.
Yeah, they gave us these pins. I didn't get them. I gave it to Ann when we went in. So overall, did you generally enjoy it? Though? You slept through about a good half of it.
Because these stories, some of them, when they were in that little lab with the ghosts, I liked it because it was like ghosts. There was like different types of ghosts. I liked that. But when you got to the relationship parts of the movie, it just seemed to drag on a little bit. I just didn't care. But I was up for that last leg.
And everybody knows the G on your hat is for Ghostbusters,
It's for
right?
Ghostbusters,
Yes,
baby. For Ghostbusters, baby.
Guys, we want to thank a sponsor of today's video, BetterHelp. Guys, it's a brand new year, and a lot of people are making New Year's resolutions, you know, things they want to change about themselves. But I've always believed that it's also equally as important to identify the things we're doing well and building on those. And therapy helps you find your strengths so you can ditch the extreme resolutions and make changes that really stick. I've always believed that nothing impacts our daily performance in our jobs, our hobbies, our relationships like our mental health. And I've also said for a long time that it's about time that we stop just putting emphasis on improving our physical health by getting out to the gym, but also by putting emphasis on improving our mental health as well. So if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. All you gotta do is fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. So guys, celebrate the progress you've already made. Visit betterhelp.com/Campea today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Campea. All right, guys, question is for you. Did any of you have a chance to go see Ghostbusters Frozen Empire? If so, what did you think of it? Did you like it a lot more than me? Did you hate it? Were you just like me where you thought, you know what, overall not bad? And do you feel like me that it's time to put this franchise to bed? I don't know. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.